Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and we are joined today by Meagan of Strong Paws Rescue. So thank you so much, Meagan, for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and Strong Paws Rescue.
So I used to foster for other rescues in the past, and just for some reason that wasn't fulfilling enough for me. So I decided to start my own. We are, at the time when I started, I was competing in Strongman. So I had the idea to combine fitness and rescue into one. So that's where the idea came from. So we're a volunteer-run fitness-based dog rescue, and most active people have dogs. So that's kind of where the idea came from behind our mission.
So I originally found you guys actually, I think when I was doing CrossFit in New York City. So I was doing CrossFit and I was still bodybuilding. And I think you guys were at some different gyms, or you had some kind of event, and I came across you on social media. And then we crossed paths at Wolf Wellness in New York City again. Yep.
Yes.
And I love that. I feel like a lot of fitness people, we're so passionate about fitness and our lives are already so busy, but then we're like, how can we be even busier? Like, what's our other passion? How can we merge it? And most of us are dog people. So I love that.
Right. Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about like starting the rescue. So you were fostering for some others, and then how did this kind of come about, or what were the steps you took to kind of start your own rescue?
Yeah. And at the time they knew I was thinking about starting my own. So they had me like help out with all different areas, running applications, fostering, dog walking. I helped out with galas. You know, I kind of learned how to run like all different like facets of it before starting my own. And even in fact, this is Bucky, by the way, even in 5 years, even so, there's still things you're learning along the way, but I just got started by just jumping in, and then I hired a lawyer to do the paperwork part, and they told me it would be about a year to get my 501, and it came in 2 weeks. So, it's been about 5 years since that started. So it happened really fast.
And I know that for you guys, so your rescue actually pulls from a number of states, a number of cities. So where do you guys normally get your dogs from?
So over the years, we've kind of shifted. We started locally here in New York, and then we were in North Carolina for a little bit helping, Tennessee, Arkansas, and we've really delved in now to mainly helping dogs in Houston. That's where about, I'd say at this point, like 95% of our dogs are from. The main shelter we pull from there is called Bark Houston, and most of our dogs are all from the euthanasia list. If we have puppies, they're strays. You know, the overpopulation crisis is astronomical down there, and our resources go a lot further to help, even with getting them transported here for adoption. But we're really passionate about finding like the hidden gems in the shelters and trying to give them a second chance, you know, at a good life. We have great dogs and great volunteers that go meet them to vet them for us. So it's really where they come from.
In addition to the shelters, are you guys seeing owner surrenders? Like, are you getting inquiries from owners trying to surrender their dogs as well?
Yeah, we get them honestly a lot, but we very rarely take them on. Most people are not completely truthful about why they're surrendering their pet, so it's a risk for us. And we do not have a shelter. We're 100% foster based, so we need to know about the animal that we're placing in someone's home. But we have taken on a few intermittently, some with families who are undergoing extreme like medical emergencies and things like that. Things do happen. So we do take on a few, but predominantly it's dogs from the euthanasia list.
And so I know you guys use fosters, which is great. And I know that they're probably like the backbone of the organization.
Yep.
Is that something that you guys are in need of? Like, do you guys need more fosters?
Always. Some people help out for a few hours, even if the dog is getting here on transport, you know, and the foster is working. Some people can just help in that capacity. So it can just be a few hours just to get some love from a puppy and then give it to someone else. Some people help out for weekends, like as a short-term help. Some people 2 weeks, 4 weeks, some don't have an end date. So there really are a lot of options. We we always are in need, mainly in Houston and the Metro New York City area. Within like 8 hours of New York City, you can help us.
Okay.
Big network.
What's the process if someone wanted to become a foster for you guys?
So it's mainly just filling out first our job form on our website. It just kind of goes over like about you, what your experience is, and then we just set up a call to chat with you because we want to make sure we're matching you with a dog that you would be comfortable with caring for. A lot of people we have a lot of beginner friendly dogs, and we just want to make sure it's a good experience for both the person and the dog, and that the person feels confident caring for them. We do, personal references, a virtual home check just to make sure it's a safe environment. And then we will supply everything, food, crate, if you need leash, collar. We want to make it as accessible as possible to everyone because some people love dogs, but they just don't have the means, to finance vet care and things like that.
Right.
And so we try to make it really accessible for everyone. Even if you're just helping for a weekend, we can still, support you with everything that you need.
Yeah, I think it's a great option in New York City, especially because maybe you're available on the weekends, but during the week, when I was working there, we would work 12, 14 hours a day. So I took my dog to the office, but I know most people can't do that. So I think like the way that you guys have your foster system set up, if people could just help on the weekends and, help pull dogs, sit with them, play with them, walk them, that's great.
Right.
And so you guys are pretty much on the East Coast. What about adoption? Do you guys adopt anywhere in the US or is that kind of limited to the East Coast?
So we try to stay along the East Coast, just mainly that's where our network is, but we are pretty flexible. We've had 2 dogs adopted into Nova Scotia, actually, that were from Houston. The adopter drove into the States, met transport in Maine and Vermont, and then brought them back over with their paperwork. So it is possible. We have a couple dogs in the Midwest that were adopted by family members, of the fosters. But predominantly in New York, Jersey, Connecticut, like Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, anywhere within, driving distance of New York. And I consider that like 8-ish hours, but it's flexible. It's flexible.
Right.
And our fosters too. If one of our Houston fosters falls in love with a dog or a family member of that foster, they're allowed to adopt too. We don't not allow our Houston or our Southern fosters to not adopt. We just don't promote them for adoption in the states where we get them from.
Okay.
So they can stay. They don't have to travel.
Right. And what do you look for in adopters? Is it kind of like the fosters with, application, virtual home check, all of the kind of the same stuff?
Yeah. And this is the most important step of the whole process. Some of the dogs are in our care for like 6 or 7 months before they're even ready, so we take this part really seriously. And they fill a similar application with the foster application on our website. And again, we want to make sure it's the right fit. I always tell everyone the dog is our customer, and they've gone through either so much or this one's really shy or you might be a great fit, but not for this dog. But here's a couple others, so maybe a better match. So we really try to find the best match. And by doing so, we've only had like 24-ish returns over 5 years, which is pretty great, and over 550 dogs, I think. But yeah, they just fill out the form. We make sure that their vet references, that their current pets are up to date on vaccines, on heartworm prevention, especially, and of course we want them to love them and be excited about, the dog that they're going to be potentially adopting. We care a lot about them. So we want to make sure that the family is also just as equally as excited and, because it's the next 10 years of their life. So.
Yeah. I hear from a lot of people, they kind of complain about the adoption process with rescues. And I don't think we understand, you guys want the dog to succeed as much as the family wants the dog to succeed. So you guys have that inside look, you guys know the dog. And so if you're telling someone, hey, this might not be a good fit, it's probably truthful. And even though, Fluffy's really cute, Fluffy might just not be the fit. So you guys definitely know that best. Like you said, you've had the dog for maybe a few months, maybe 6 months. So kind of their temperament and like what they're going to need in a forever home.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I was trying to think I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Just kidding. Oh yeah. We don't require yards. That was the thing. So many rescues require fenced yard. This is my rescue. I don't even have one. So we really try not to have like a lot of red tape when it comes to adoption. We're not going to nitpick what kind of food you're giving your pet, but as long as like the basic needs are met, that's what we care about the most. But,
yeah, I do know a lot of rescues. They require fenced in yard. They require you to feed a certain food. So, and I I get it to a certain extent, but I mean, especially with living like New York City metro area up there, a lot of people are going to be in apartments, so they're not going to
Right.
have a
Right.
fenced in yard. And so it's an unrealistic requirement for so many people.
Right. Yeah. And we get a lot of people who are turned off by that and like, well, I don't want to apply again. And I'm like, I'm just telling you, we don't have a lot of requirements like other people do. And that's part of the reason why I started my own too. Like I took things that I liked and got rid of things that I didn't like. I'm like, no, some of these things just don't make sense.
Yeah. So what kind of events do you guys have coming up for March, April, or even if you guys have anything further out?
Yeah, we do for the next 3 months actually. So the 16th of March, we do a lot of pop-up shops where we fundraise with t-shirt sales. A lot of our apparel and merch is dog and fitness themed. So we have a pop-up at Hellbent Barbell in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We'll have a table there of just shirts. That same day, we've got 3 or 4 puppies attending puppy yoga at Wolf Wellness. Let's see what else. In April, at the Distortion Society in Beacon, New York, we're having our first tattoo flash fundraiser, which will be really fun with shirts, 2 for sale, adoptable dogs. Let's see. And in May, we have 2 planned at the moment, another dog yoga class at Hydrogen Fitness in Scarsdale, New York. And then in East Windsor, Connecticut at Lightning Fitness, we have our biggest fundraiser of the year. The gym owners adopted from us. So there's going to be food trucks, tons of raffles, dogs. We have dog yoga there. It's just like a big giant, like Strong Paws Rescue kind of fundraiser, which is our big one for the year. It kind of fundraises for all of our admin type things because it's around like $10,000 just to exist. So that kind of covers us for the year for that. It's a big one.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So,
yeah.
And that's at a gym. Will you guys be hosting like any workouts, or is it just going to be kind of like dogs and food and hanging out?
Last year it was mainly just dog foods, hanging out, kids, they had stuff for kids there. And the gym is open, but there's open gym that day for the public if you wanted to go in. But it's mainly just kind of like a fun day for everyone. There's the dog yoga class, but I don't think there's going to be any fitness workouts that day.
Okay.
Just because a lot of dogs around, it might not be a good idea.
Right.
But, yeah.
I used to take my dog to CrossFit, and the second the barbells came out, I'd be like, okay, you're going on your leash. I'm not going to let you run around with all the barbells.
Yeah. But
so where can people find you guys on social media, and what's your website?
So we're mainly really active, mainly on Instagram and Facebook, and it's just Strong Paws Rescue. There's a couple dogs and a barbell in our logo. We do have a TikTok too, Strong Paws Rescue, the same handle, but it's not as active as the other 2. And then our website is www.strongpawsrescue.org. And from there, you'll see our adoption forms, foster forms, our pet finder, our apparel stuff, and how to donate and help fundraise for us, and as well as food and stuff donations too, because we donate a lot to the community. So everything is pretty much on the website.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Meagan, for all of the work that you're doing. It's much needed.
Yes. No, thank you for having me and helping me spread awareness. There's so many dogs that need help, and the more people that know, the more that we can save.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.